Hey guys, Butch Hartman here. Welcome to Speech Bubble. Drake Bell, what's up with the tattoos?
I have a lot of them.
We'll be right back.
They don't.
The deals that I got back then in like the late 90s, early 2000s, like for merchandising and things like that, they don't give deals like that anymore.
No.
And they don't even let shows go very long anymore.
Yeah.
It's really, really strange. Like it's almost like musicians these days don't even get to have, like, remember like when, at least when I was growing up in the 70s, bands would have 10, 20, 30 albums.
Oh yeah, and a band would have 2 or 3 albums, and the label would and it wouldn't hit until the 4th album, and on that 3rd album the label would be like, oh no, we're still working it. It's just a slow build, slow burn, whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, if that first song we didn't release of you didn't pop, then we're on to the next.
Then you're done.
Just,
yeah, exactly.
Then we're scrolling. It's literally the speed of scrolling through your Instagram feed. You're just like next.
Who's next? I know. So I mean, I would imagine anyone out there listening to this right now, you got any advice for them if they want to make it as a musician, like anywhere, like especially in Hollywood? What would you say to that person?
It's honestly, it's just the same advice that you would always hear and get and listen to and go, oh, that's just tried, or oh, that's just, you hear those sayings as a kid.
Like cliche,
it's like
exactly.
That's the word I'm looking for. You just find that, oh, that's just some cliche. But then you realize as you get older, you're like, oh man, if I would have listened to all those cliches my mom or my dad or my parents or all those people around me were saying and put them into practice, wow, I would totally be in a different position right now. And it's like early bird gets the worm and like all these stupid sayings. And that's really what it is. It's like, or like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's like how to cut through in social media today. It's like,
or Jace Diehl better not mess up this time.
Yeah,
like
that's that one's been going around since forever.
Old.
Yeah, my grandpa used to say that.
And then I was born. They're like,
that's why we said it. But, I guess the advice you would probably give is what I would give. It's like I would advise people like this, especially these days when everything's digital. I'm like, learn how to play on a real guitar. Learn how to play drums on a real drum set. I tell people with art, I'm glad there's digital art out there, but like learn how to draw with paper and pencil. Learn how to draw a pen and ink, actual painting.
Absolutely.
And then the digital stuff will make you a little bit more. You get more
but I would also on top of that say, double down and as much time as you're putting into, because whereas for people like me who grew up in the generation just before, and Josh and I talk about this all the time, how, man, if we were just one generation after, we'd have 30 million Instagram followers. We'd have 100 million Twitter followers. You know what I mean? But we're just the generation just before. So we have great numbers, but they're nowhere near what like the Hannah Montana, the Miley Cyrus,
the JoJo Siwa.
Right. So we would. So I would say at the disadvantage that we had, I would say take advantage of that now and
social media.
Yeah, and double down on as much time as you're spending. And I would say just technology in general, today, and like every platform, just like how you're embracing Twitch, for example. Like, oh, there's a new platform. Okay, how can well, I'm not a gamer. Okay, well, but how can you use this platform that's reaching this many people? What if, you play music? Hey, how many people watch you play video games? What if you played your music on your Twitch program? Oh, now that's going to get people to go, hey, what are you listening to, Butch? Oh, I'm listening to this new guy, Jace, and now that's promoting his music.
So my music.
So, see what I'm saying?
My one band.
Yeah,
music.
So I'm saying like any way that you can, it's really just like oversaturated, and really because there's so much, so much to cut through now. Oversaturation, you're just like, what am I gonna? And so you have to basically.
Yeah. Well, the other advantage I think you have, and that I have a little bit, because I'm a lot older than you, and the social media stuff didn't even come around until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this? I mean, I want to do this, but I mean, I didn't even have time to get into it. By the way, iPhones didn't even come out until 2007.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. So it's like, no, so just getting onto this stuff and embracing it and making it part of your day, making it part of your, because it's an everyday thing with social. It's got to be. But I've really increased my following because, we're doing YouTube stuff now and this, and you have to just totally remind people that you're there.
Yep, exactly. And you're doing a great job of it. Exactly. You see these other platforms and you're like, okay, YouTube, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. Okay, how can we make okay, we're going to shoot the podcast. Okay, we're going to put that on this platform and do that.
Right.
And it's like, even though but you are able to sit down with an easel and a pen and a paper and sit there with no technology around you and create everything that's around us right now. You know what I mean? So I think that both of those things are super important. Yes. And what I tell kids in meet and greets all the time, they go, how do I get to be where you are right now? And I just say, don't think about where I am right now. Like, look at the goal. Like, yeah, okay, I want to be there one day. But then you have to do the homework. You got to sit in your room for 14 hours and play guitar. You gotta sit there and draw and erase and screw up and
do
crumple the paper and throw it away and do it over, and over and over and over again. You know, I'm sure that the first time you drew, you weren't magnificent. I mean, maybe you were. Some people are.
I really was.
Some people are. Some people are. Some people are.
I had a lot to learn.
But there's like techniques that even how great you are, even however you're, if you're born with it, there's still techniques that take years and years and years to really harness and everything. So, I mean, you really have to do both.
Yeah, the first thing I tell people all the time is like, look, they say the same thing to me. How do I get to have my own show and have it be a success for 15 years? I go, well, first of all, it's practicing the drawing, and then it's practicing every aspect of making a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's not only doing that, it's the political part too, going out and actually telling people about it. Like when you wrote the theme song.
Yeah.
You guys could have sat there that day and went, you know what, I'm just kind of tired, let's go swimming. And I don't really want to write a theme song. And it never would have happened.
Or we could have been scared to play it for Dan and then didn't do it. Or we could have just, exactly. Or I could have just said, cool, Dan, yeah, sure, I'll meet with you about my music on Monday.
And never did it.
And just had met with him about, I'll be a guitar player on the show. Cool, see you later.
And I say this all the time, like opportunities are like comets. They're really cool, but they only come around once in a while, and they might not come around for a very long time.
And that's where somebody will look at you and be like, "Oh, you're so lucky that you were able to write the theme song for Drake and Josh." And it's like, no, I just saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was prepared for that. I went and I prepared for the opportunity. You know what I mean? It's like I had Saturday and Sunday. I could have gone out with my friend and gone swimming and gone to a party that night. But I didn't. I spent 16 hours of my weekend preparing for this opportunity on Monday.
Exactly.
And the opportunity met preparation, and I was able to
took it seriously.
make it into luck.
Like the time you and I wrote that song, we wrote with Guy Moon. We were like, because we were doing the Fairly Odd first
Summer,
one.
I think.
No, the first one.
Oh, this was the first one. That's right.
The Fairly Odd movie, Grow Up Timmy Turner. You did an amazing job as Timmy Turner. And we were going to give you buck teeth, but I think you didn't want us to do that. But we're like, we need to write a song. And I was given the opportunity too, because the producer at the time was like, you can write a song if you want to. And I don't think the person even thought I would even try it, number one. And I knew for a fact that this person wouldn't even take it seriously.
Right.
So I'm like, we've got to write a killer song.
Yeah.
So I show up and I'm at Guy Moon's house. And
who's great. Who's
Guy's
incredible.
unbelievable. Yeah. Well, you're great. I was like the least talented person in the room, like standing there going, okay. But I've written some
your
songs.
lyrics, man, you come up with some really, really cool lyrics.
Oh, well, thank you.
Very clever.
But we're sitting there, I'm going, okay. And we started off by listening. I remember we started writing the song at like 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And for like 20 minutes, it was a nightmare. We're like, what? But by 11:30, we had a killer song.
Yeah.
It was killer.
It always starts like that. You're always just like, this is never this puzzle. It's like slamming a square into a triangle
really
for like
it
3
really
hours,
is.
and you're like, it's never gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, it like magically molds into the triangle.
You're like, yeah, we can
what
add
the
this.
heck?
Well, what I loved about that though is like normally when I write with Moon, I'll write like a poem. I have a ton of melodies in my head. I just don't really play that much. So I'm like, we could do this, and then you're there though. You had a guitar, and you picked up the guitar, and you like added this really cool part to the song. And I went, that is cool, and that sent me into this direction.
Yeah.
And then we had a killer song.
Yeah.
And then I played it for that producer, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is great.
That's
I said,
awesome.
Yes, it
That's
is.
awesome. Yeah, and it was totally fit the sound of the
perfect.
movie. It was like very and what I loved about it too was it was like our musical background. It's very Monkeys, very
totally. 3-chord Monkeys. Because I'm a huge. I have a Monkeys lunchbox in my office.
Turtles.
Oh yeah, the Turtles. You like the
Turtles?
Turtles?
Yeah, it's very like that kind of happy together.
Oh, yeah.
It's
The
like
rabbits, right?
No, not the rabbits.
The
Go away.
rabbits
No,
are
stop.
another
We're done.
animal group?
We told you to stop. We told you to please
some
stop.
new DJ.
The rabbits.
Yeah, exactly.
Some new
Actually, the
DJ
rabbits
team.
isn't-
I'm taking that.
The rabbits.
Copyright that
Down.
now.
Speech bubble.